So this is part 7 of the Mid-Atlantic section. Thomas Jefferson Memorial. Located in East Potomac Park on the eastern shore of the tidal basin, the Thomas Jefferson Memorial, with its graceful dome, is a striking sight. Known as a writer, philosopher, diplomat, and Renaissance man, the third president of the United States left behind a legacy of political ideas and actions that have passed the test of time with flying colors. A statue of Jefferson stands at the center of the rotunda under the dome, and the surrounding walls are inscribed with words from his most lasting and eloquent writings, including personal letters and the Declaration of Independence. The Thomas Jefferson Memorial was dedicated in 1943, on the 200th anniversary of Jefferson's birth. And there's a picture of the memorial. This has nothing to do with the memorial. But when I went, it was on 420, actually. And there was a weed car just sitting outside trying to sell its product, you know? I thought that was funny. Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial. On the west side of the tidal basin, the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial pays respect to the nation's 32nd president. Dedicated by President Bill Clinton in 1997, the memorial consists of 4 outdoor rooms, each depicting one of FDR's 4 terms in office, and iconic FDR quotes are carved into the granite walls. The memorial includes quiet areas bounded by shade, trees, waterfalls, and pools. The FDR Memorial is not only about the man, but also the tumultuous times, most notably the Great Depression and World War II, through which he guided the nation. And there's a picture of him with his dog. Washington National Cathedral. Pierre L'Enfant, Washington, D.C.'s first city planner, conceived of a national church in 1791. In his writings, L'Enfant described his vision of a cathedral, intended for national purposes such as public prayer, thanksgiving, funeral orations, etc., and assigned to the special use of no particular sect or denomination, but equally open to all. However, it took some time for L'Enfant's vision to come to pass. The foundation was laid in 1907, but the grand structure, with more than 250 angels and more than 100 gargoyles, was not finished for 83 years. The National Cathedral has been a focal point for spiritual life in the nation's capital since it opened in 1912. Every president has attended services here while in office. Many people have gathered at the church to mourn the passing of leaders or mark momentous events in world history. The National Cathedral is the 6th largest cathedral in the world. And it's very pretty. Arlington National Cemetery. Nearly 4 million visitors come to Arlington National Cemetery each year. Most come to pay respect to their loved ones, to honor the leaders interred here, or to thank the more than 300,000 people buried here, many of whom were soldiers killed in the line of duty. Soldiers and veterans from every war the United States has fought in are buried here. Those who died prior to the Civil War were reinterred in Arlington after 1900. There are 3 unknown soldiers from World War I, World War II, and the Korean War buried in the never officially named Tomb of the Unknowns. The Vietnam veteran who had been buried there was identified in 1998, and his body was returned to his family in St. Louis. President John F. Kennedy is buried in Arlington, and his grave is marked by the eternal flame, a specially designated flame that never goes out. Tomb Guard sentinels, who are volunteers from the elite 3rd U.S. Infantry, keep watch over the Tomb of the Unknowns 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. My family lucked out, actually. We got to see the soldiers trade spots, so that was pretty cool. U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum. The mission of the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C. is to ensure that the horrors of the Holocaust are never forgotten. The museum is devoted to documenting, studying, and interpreting the history of the Holocaust, and it is also a memorial to the millions of Holocaust victims. Beyond educating the public about the tyranny of Nazi Germany against Europe's Jews, Romans, and members of other minority groups, the museum serves to remind visitors that their responsibilities as citizens of a democracy are never to be taken lightly. On the National Mall, the Holocaust Memorial Museum was chartered by Congress in 1980. Its exhibitions focus on artifacts, art, and other evidence of the Holocaust and the death and destruction it wrought. Every spring, a solemn and reflective ceremony is held on the grounds on Holocaust Remembrance Day. The Tower of Faces contains more than 1,300 photos of Jewish life in the Lithuanian town of, I'm not going to pronounce that right, so I'm not even going to try, taken between 1980 and 1941. This museum was the hardest to walk through, just because everywhere you went, it was just so sad because of the just different exhibits.